not going to sit and say like, oh, I want to make a bunch of money from my art. I would love that. Like I said, so I can survive.
Hey, my name is Nala like the Lion King, and this is my channel, DBNaila is done by Nala. Last week, we made this here. Yeah. It was a great lesson. My friend Sid joined us when I cut it off. This is what she had to say about it. Roll the tape.
Hello, this is my critique on the piece that Nala did, trying to duplicate like a work that looks like mine, the way I do my abstract paintings. And first and foremost, I want to say that it turned out amazing. It looked so good, and I don't know why you doubted yourself in the first place. I think that when you went back the second time, it really added that abstract feel when you added those extra palette knife marks and those drips and all that kind of stuff. I think that that really showed your way of coming out your comfort zone and just being expressive instead of thinking about the process and thinking too much of like a structured painting. So I think that really set it off and made it a more abstract view. Color choice, so good. I love the high contrast with the reds and the like your whites and blacks. I think that was a good choice, and I love the fact that you added your own twist to it as well, with the hands coming and pulling the background open. I think that was a great idea. I think that it turned out really good, and you did an amazing job, and I'm glad that you went out your comfort zone to do that and create something great. Love you, girl. Bye.
Okay, so today we have another artist. Her name is Tori Celeste. She's a contemporary artist. She does a lot of like horror art and things like that. And I found her, I think was on either TikTok or Instagram. Low-key, I think it was Twitter. Literally, when I saw her work, I was just like jaw-dropping. I was obsessed with it. So if you guys can give a warm welcome to Tori Celeste. So hello. Welcome Tori for coming on. I'm so excited to have you. Oh my gosh. So I actually like saw Tori's work, I think on Twitter or TikTok, but I was just like obsessed with her work ever since. And I'm just so happy that I got to have her onto my channel. She's a contemporary artist, but I'm gonna let her talk about that. But yeah, welcome on Tori.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm just gonna start off the bat. What made you get into creating art?
So I started doing art when I was a little girl. So it kind of started with my dad. He kind of like really influenced me to like just draw. Mm-hmm. So ever since like elementary school, I was just kind of like sketching and doodling. I used to draw like a bunch of Pokemon and everything like that.
Gosh.
Pokemon. Around the time I was like 11 or 12, I started getting into oil painting. And that was like pretty much for me watching Bob Ross on PBS. Like during the summer, like I didn't really have cable or anything like that, so like I watched a lot of PBS, and so like his segment would come on.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross.
And just the way he would like, you know, teach and show us him doing art, it was just like anyone can like follow along and do this.
And paint along with us each show.
And that's kind of like what got me into picking up oil paints, and I would kind of like create a bunch of like Bob Ross ish type works, and then I just kind of started to branch out. I didn't really have like a theme of anything I was necessarily painting like back then. I really like still life painting, so still lifes will always have like a place in my heart when it comes to like work that I like looking at. But from there, I just kind of kept painting, and you know, I did a little bit of drawing, got into like using ink and stuff like that. I really got interested in comic books. So I kind of like in high school was kind of like trying to draw and create my own comic strip and stuff like that. When I went to college, that is when I was introduced to Photoshop. So that was my first introduction to digital art. I did not know how any of the digital art was made. So like I didn't know what Photoshop was until until college. I went to college to study graphic design, and on the weekdays, the computer lab would be open. So like I would go in there like on the days that I didn't have any classes, and I would just like get on the computer and just practice with like the little drawing stylus and just practice in Photoshop. So I basically like had to teach myself how to do digital art.
Right.
And
spare time.
And I just watched a lot. I watched a bunch of YouTube tutorials, and particularly like speed paint tutorials. Like they were just like sped up videos. So it's not like they weren't really like proper tutorials. I was just watching people do it, and then I do it. And that's kind of like how I tend to work and how I can like pick up on things. If I can watch you create something, I just need to keep watching you do it, and then I keep doing it, and then like I'll get it. Yeah, it'll just click. Since then, I just kind of explored more into digital art, got into 3D modeling a little bit.
Okay, that is terrifying. I'm trying to.
It's a learning curve. I've been doing it on and off though for about like 10 years though, so it's like it's a lot, but you definitely have to have patience with it. But yeah, I mean, since then, like I just kind of like art has kind of just been like a part of my life in some way, or just being creative, I'll say.
Yeah, it reminded me like how I used to do things, because like my dad, he was the creative one as well, and like I used to copy like comic books and stuff too, because my grandmother like, used to collect them, so I would just take them and go in the bathroom, I'd just be reading them, and I'm like, let me just draw this character real quick. I swear, like I don't think I started to like realize the power of YouTube, I think until like I think senior year of undergrad, because I didn't even realize there were so many tutorials online.
I didn't know either. I mean, I wasn't like heavy into watching a lot of YouTube videos in the first place. Like I didn't grow up really like with the internet in my household. Like the only time, like I didn't have a computer at all really. So the only time I could get on the computer, like when I was in grade school, would be when I would go to the library a lot. And that's kind of like when I would get on DBNaila, and that's how I would kind of post my work when I could. And when I got to college is when like I had, access 24/7 to like a computer and the internet. And I still feel like I didn't really utilize like YouTube as much as I could have to like, learn more things. But I think like now there's definitely so many more resources when it comes to trying to learn like from the internet. I mean, even with like TikTok videos, doing short tutorials, like just I'm learning stuff about programs that I've been using for years, like that I didn't know existed.
Yeah, I definitely say that, because TikTok has taught me some things about Procreate, and because I use Nomad Sculpt, and so I learned from TikTok, and I'm like, dang, all these tips and tricks I had no idea. Like in like under a minute videos. Yeah. I'm like, how does that work? So as far as your work, what is the purpose of it? What is the goal you're trying to accomplish here with your work?
I feel like the main goal with my work is to just connect with people. It's definitely a way for me to communicate my feelings and everything, because I don't necessarily verbally express myself and how I feel, but art has been that outlet for me over all the years, like express my emotions. And one thing I've noticed over the years is that a lot of people can look at some of my work and they feel something from it. So I think for me, like I just want my art to connect with people, because I think connection is a really important thing, especially with us, all of us humans. Like we all feel things, we all feel emotions, we all in some way struggle with our mental health. And I feel like if my work can evoke some sort of emotion in you, then I feel like I've done my job.
Oh, you definitely did it. You definitely did it. It gives that nostalgia as well, because I see you do a lot of like characters that we already know, and then you have so many different creative characters, and like I love it, because I'm like, wait a minute, I think I know this character. I'm like, oh, it's a spin on it. It's
evolved over the years. Like I can definitely say like it's just been years of like just practice, and my style is just like still changing.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think like the number one thing that artists should know? What's a good subject or tip for artists out there?
I think what is important is just staying true to yourself, not trying to create what you think everybody wants to see. I mean, I understand, especially in this day and age with social media, like, doing a few trends here and there. Like if I do a trend or something, like it's because it's fun. Like I'm not trying to stress about it, and be like, oh, this is going to be my next break, if I can just like do this thing. But I think it's about like just staying true to what it is that you like doing and like remembering why you're doing it as well, and not losing sight of that, because you enjoy the process. Like I feel like the process should be fun. It shouldn't be so stressful, because it can be hard out here, especially trying to be an artist, trying to be seen, especially on social media. You know, I know everybody's situation is different, but I think also trying to look outside of social media to kind of expand your art and to meet local artists, or just to go to shows if you can. I think it can be really beneficial. Just think outside the internet as well.
It's definitely hard to like separate yourself from being like a social media artist. You know what I mean? And it's just like so many people kind of growing up into social media where like before we didn't have that. It was a bunch of galleries and festivals. That's where we saw the art, you know?
Yeah. In this day and age, you know, a lot of the galleries and stuff are on social media. And I find that they'd probably be on Instagram more than Twitter, honestly, which is why I've been focusing more on Instagram. Though, I mean, I feel like both, you know, have their ups and downs, their pros and cons, but it definitely can be hard being an artist and then trying to be a content creator, because it's two different things. And I understand that can be hard for like many people to try to do, like trying to make content out of their art, you know, when all you want to do is just paint. You know, we shouldn't have to be kind of like fighting with the algorithms, of course, to be seen. So I definitely understand the frustration that people have, but I look at it as like, if you are, you know, kind of trying to learn to make content with your work, that it's okay to like diversify your platforms. It's okay to recycle the content that you create and put them on multiple different platforms, because you are being able to target many people that probably haven't seen your work before. So I kind of like to think of it as like that. I think some people and artists don't really like to repost something. I'm just like, let these people see it, because many people haven't seen it because how the algorithm works. So like, keep posting the same thing, you know, in multiple places. You know, you ain't gotta be spammy about it. But
like, I think because like thinking about artists, like you said, like we didn't sign up to be content creators, we signed up to be artists. So it's just like in this day and age, you gotta be careful. Like you gotta learn how to maneuver both. And like you said, like don't create for the internet, create for art. So be posting it, because I should do that, because I don't really like repost as much, because I'm like, you got a great idea, because not everyone's gonna see it at the same time.
Exactly,
you know?
Exactly.
And it's hard with that confidence too, because like honestly, I feel like a lot of artists are introverts. So they're forcing us to be more outwardly people and sell ourselves, and you know, and it's so hard. It's so hard.
It's very hard. And I mean, and I'm a deep introvert. And you know, you have artists who are just afraid of even posting that art online. And sometimes I think back to myself, like, how did I get the confidence to like start posting my work like 10 years ago on DBNaila? You know, like I don't really know. That's a hard thing for me to answer, because I just did it. I don't know, like, and I understand being confident in your work as an artist can be a struggle for many artists, because some people just we don't feel confident in what we create sometimes, and you know, we just feel like other people aren't going to like it, and we're afraid of being judged. But like, just me as an introvert, like, you know, I have to do like in real life shows, like IRL shows. I go to conventions. And so I'm literally like having to be face to face with people, and I hear them talk about my art, and I watch and observe them as they're looking at it. And, you know, that right there is a completely different thing compared to me just posting something on Twitter and just some likes and some comments. You know, like I have
300 people in front of you. It's just kind of like,
so it's, you know, it's still something that I, you know, have to get used to. And, you know, I always say the more I do it, you know, the better I get in. I was like, nah, I'm just an introvert sometimes. Like, it is what it is.
Well, I would definitely say, because like from the outside, it just, you look so confident. And like, I always love your displays. First off, I'm just like, I dream to have displays like her. It's just like, everything is perfect. Like, it's like, I think it's like PR. It's just eye catching. I did like my first tabling like that, like a long time ago. I think like a month or two ago.
Yeah, I saw it.
It was terrifying. I don't know how you do it. I
Yours was like is yet again practice. I've been like selling at conventions for like about probably 6 or 7 years now. So I've been able to see other people's setups. Every time I go to a convention, of course I'm looking at the art, but I'm looking at like their setup. Like I'm looking at what display items they have to see like, could I use this for my setup? And it's an evolving thing. It's just gonna keep changing over time. And you know,
I wish I had this advice like a few years ago, for real.
Yo, well, actually, I would have been like, yo, just hit me up. Like if anybody has like any questions about like conventions and selling at Artist Alley and stuff, like I'm more than happy to like, you know, give my tips.
Yes. It was funny because I was just talking about the other artist the other day, talking about how it's like an art community. Find people who are local with you, make those connections, and just learn from each other. And just hearing this now gave me so many tips. Like seeing your work and your setup just had me so prepared for when it happened. I was like, okay, I need a tablecloth. I should have like a backdrop, like, you know, like, so I got stuff lined up because I learned from watching other artists. So definitely, because I know it's weird because some people are like have this idea that like some artists don't want people to copy them, or I don't know. It's a weird topic, but
it's really gatekeepy.
Yes.
And just I don't like that at all. Like I'll tell you where I got something from or where I bought something from. I'm not gonna like gatekeep that information from people. So
like I try to share as much as I can, you know, any and every artist, you know. Okay, so far as that then, like what would you define a successful artist?
I guess I would define as successful, and I know that's going to be different from like different people. You know, I can sit here and look at artists who like have like these large gallery shows, have their art in like museums, you know, being noticed by celebrities and stuff like that as being like, oh, they're successful. But then, you know, it's kind of like, okay, are they successful just because, you know, of the people they're around? Is it because of clout? Like, you know, what is that? So I think for me, I think being successful is being able to be self-sufficient with my art and be able to make a living with it, because you gotta survive. And I think being able to, like I said, connect with people, like people being able to just kind of like gain something from my art. It'd be like them being inspired by what I do or anything like that. When it comes to, I guess, like more like, you know, tangible things, like having my first like solo show would be amazing for me. Like I would consider that a pretty big success. You know, it comes down to the definition. I mean, I'm not going to say like, oh, I want to make a bunch of money from my art. I would love that. Like I said, so I can survive. But, you know, I feel like it's about the longevity of the craft and just like the artwork to live on years from now, even when I'm not here anymore. I think that's kind of special.
I definitely agree with that. Just having that legacy pass on, like, oh yeah, you knew about this artist here. Like this is this artist. Like you can tell from the work. Okay, I know who that is. Lastly, so, okay, I know after I speak to all the artists, I was attempting to create some work in that similar style. Now I'm terrified as usual. I had an abstract piece I had to do. I about pooped myself. So what are some tips for me to even like attempt your style to help me out with?
I guess for me, like it's mainly subject matter. So I don't really paint people. At the moment as much. I mean, it's
scratch the people.
So not a lot of like portrait figures, but I do have figures, but they're kind of like, I guess, humanoid in a way. So, you know, it can be resemble like a human body, but you know, it just don't have human facial features. I tend to include skulls or like a lot of the creatures have like teeth or something. I don't know, something with teeth. Let's see. I mean, I do paint in oils, so I don't know what you're going to paint in.
Oh God, man. Oh, that's the challenge I needed, low key.
So if you do decide to use oils, using oil mediums help a lot. That is what I use to create. And I tend to kind of paint in like the alla prima style. So it's like very wet on wet. So, you know,
you do a wash beforehand?
I do. I will, for the most part, tone the canvas in some neutral color. Lately I've been toning the canvas like an all black. Like I'll just take black acrylic paint and just and then just paint over it with the oil paints. But just some neutral color. I tend to do washes. Yeah.
I was just kind of like, turn this down. Okay, I got this. Have you seen Fantastic Planet? So like,
Gosh, it sounds familiar.
So it's like an old French film. And I'm thinking of the characters and I'm like, maybe I can like base some of my ideas off of that. Because I'm not really good like just putting it out of my mind. Like you're fantastic with it. So I might use that to inspire some things.
Oh, definitely do that. Cause yeah, a lot of it does kind of come out of my head. One thing I tend to do is it's kind of like how when you do like the Rorschach test thing, I guess, like the ink blots.
Okay.
Like I just kind of start putting random strokes on the canvas.
Okay.
And seeing what I see from that.
Okay.
It can take time, I'm not saying it'll be a fast process, but I'm literally just kind of just like doing lines and putting paint on the canvas until something comes.
Oh God, this is gonna be so crazy for me. I'm so excited. Well, I know for sure when I do it, I'm gonna send it to you, and maybe you can like send me a video of like just judge the mess out of it. I mean, just just judge it because I want to know. And I definitely want to have you back on again.
Yes.
Other challenges. I know. I talked to the other artists. I saw Black being like, there's this thing where they're like, someone paints on one corner of the piece and they send it to the next artist and they something like that. Maybe we can do something like that in the future. So
yes, I'm down.
You can just talk and stuff.
Yes.
This is your time. Give me some shout outs, like, promotional things, what's going on, gallery shows, all of that.
Let's see. At the moment, I do have some work, a part of like this Rise gallery that is in Alton, Illinois at the Jacoby Art Center. I think that's running until like towards the end of July. I currently have a piece at the Cameroon Art Museum in Wilmington, North Carolina that should be there until like September. I'll be at the GalaxyCon Raleigh at the end of July, so I'll be in Artist Alley, selling stuff. So if you're in the area, definitely come through.
Support, yes.
Let's see. I think that's all I really have planned.
Okay. How can we reach you?
You can find me on Instagram at toricelesteart, and you can find me on Twitter and TikTok at toriceleste. So yeah.
Yay! This is great. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so today I am going to be attempting a Tori Celeste inspired piece, and as you guys know, she has a very contemporary style, horror type style. So this is like right up my alley. But I'm terrified. Okay, so this is the size canvas I have. It's a little dimply, but it's okay. I think I'm having bigger for this one because I want like a bigger surface area, but it's about close. So I'm going to be using this canvas, and it's kind of already open. That's what we got. Nice canvas. Let's go ahead and replace this. First thing she said was that she does do a wash. Sometimes she does black. So I'm going to start with black. I'm going to do I don't know what color. I don't know what wash. I'll do a gray wash. I think that's pretty. Let's get into that. Now I know how to do washes. Okay, y'all, I learned. So before I start, I got my canvas up. This is the old palette. All right, so I just gotta, okay, nothing too much. This palette's getting real messy, y'all. All right, this is pretty much clean. Let's put a new piece on here. As you guys know, paper palette. This is what I use. Let's get some double-sided tape. Y'all, you know what's crazy? My thumb still hurts from when I sprained it and I have to get that fixed or checked. Now we have a nice and fresh palette. Alright, so the colors I'm gonna need obviously are white, black for my wash. So I'm gonna start off with just that. I'm gonna get my bigger brush This is the better brush to be big. This is 1.5 inch. All right, black. Then I'm gonna get some white, black and white. Make some gray. Mixing that gray, dip in my water. Let's get in there. Yeah. There we go. Water. I didn't tell you guys I'm going to be attempting oil paint, but I wanted to do the undergarment of it with acrylic. I heard it's really cool and easier to use if you do the undergarment with acrylic and then everything else with your oil. I'm also going to take a few pictures because I have an idea, but I'm going to try to be creative, you guys. I'm not going to make this realistic. I'm going to make this super funky and creative. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to really figure this out, y'all. Okay? Okay. Okay, I'm going for red. I think I broke it, okay. Yeah, I think I broke this. Where's it? Oh, nice. Okay, I fixed it. Blue and black again. Those same colors. Low-key, all of them have the same colors. That's kind of tough. I'm not gonna hold you. Blue, white, and gray. Something dull. Thinking like this. There. So I'm doing it in the style of like Fantastic Planet. If you guys don't know, like my pop showed me this movie when I was like maybe 10, I don't know. But it was this, I think it's a French film, but it's basically like no words, kind of like translated different English, but it's about like society and politics, but it's really good. And it's just like basically aliens and like humans are being hunted because we're the pets. It's really good. I had the tape and everything, but I'm going to base off of those type of characters. They're blue and they have like bright colored eyes, so I really want to kind of like remix it off of that type of feeling. Alright, so I just finished doing like the outer area of it. Now I have an idea and I'm going to go ahead and really try to sketch it out roughly with acrylic, and then I'm going to switch straight to oil paint. The paint I will be using when I get there though is King's Art oil paint. So the colors I have, these are my colors. So I'm gonna go with Meridian Green, Ultramarine Blue, Scarlet Gray, Crimson Red, and then I have a white. Then I have some linseed oil to moisturize. Alright, so getting into this painting, it's definitely a different approach because I am using a bigger brush, so it was a little bit different than the last time I had oil paint. It feels a lot smoother for me. Like, I don't know, the bigger brush just makes it like more of the surface area covered, and I like that type of painting style. That's what I like to do with my acrylic. So I was a lot more comfortable in this type of adventure than I was before. Because most of my acrylic paintings are done with like a tiny brush for the most part. So being able to get a big surface area and comfortably being able to pack on color on top of color, I was very happy about that. I was very confident with that because, as you know, oil paint is a very, it's a much wetter type of medium, I guess, and well, material, basically. Oil paint's a very wet material. Plus, I was using linseed oil because I wanted to make sure a little bit more moist because I hate how like rough it gets sometimes. But I was using that, so it was kind of hard to put color on top of it because oil paint can like scrape up from the other ones because it doesn't dry, so it's not easy for like layering. But I've practiced enough and I'm kind of getting a lot more comfortable with knowing how to pack oil paint on top of oil paint, because most oil paint artists, like I noticed, like they paint exactly where the color is supposed to go. Like there's no layering, basically. Like there's zero layering, which is ironic because I swear oil pastel you do a lot of layering itself, but I mean, hey, it's a different medium, I guess. I'm almost done and I'm feeling very confident. Thank you, Tori, for challenging me about this. And please check out her channel, by the way. She has a YouTube channel. Check it out, please. Support, please. All right, everyone. So I have finished it. I finished for now. I'm probably going to go back and add some more fun stuff to it. But the background will be boring. I went through all the phases, I think. But I just didn't add I didn't add the creepy feel to it, I guess. But are you guys ready? This is fun. I haven't done a creative piece, I don't think, in a long time, to be honest. So this was really fun. This is very different than what I usually do up there, as you guys can see. I got pink, yellow, white, no black. Like, is this me? But I'm proud. I think I succeeded a little bit as far as like, I don't know if this is contemporary, but I feel like Tori's inspired me. So Tori, let me know if I did right or wrong. I will see that response next video. But thank you guys for joining on. This was a success. So get your contemporary on. Thank you for joining on. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys very soon. Don't forget to flush. Out of the way. Have a great day. Bye.
Finally! I've been trying to catch you boys all day! Now that I've got you right where I want you!
Like and subscribe.
Nice.